46. And Ole Miss had a pretty significant jump in the RPI, moving up to 47 from, 55 going into the game. So an 8-spot jump for Ole Miss in the RPI. And they are close to that range where if you're inside 40, generally speaking, you get in and you got some RPI opportunities in front of you.
Well, and that's kind of the point, right, is because of the RPIs of their – by the way, somebody needs to sabotage the bus. Don't play Arkansas State. Don't do it. Just don't. Cancel the game. Jim Schlossnagle of Texas A&M canceled a midweek game against Incarnate Word. I think it was supposed to be played today, and he straight up said RPI. That's why. Nothing wrong. We can't afford to play this game. It'll hurt us. Straight up.
Yeah.
Ole Miss should do the same thing. If you happen to get, even if you just get one this weekend, don't play Arkansas State. Do you want to make the tournament or not? Don't play them. Either way, these next 2 weekends will, if they play well and win games, will get them in a position to make the postseason. Everything that, I say everything, hosting obviously is the goal. But in terms of making the postseason, they don't need help. None. They just need themselves. It's all up to them at this point.
I am, just out of curiosity, pulling up the long-range forecast for Jonesboro, Arkansas. Maybe to answer your question where you don't have to cancel the game. Tuesday, May 17th, high of 81, morning thunderstorms.
Just go ahead and get ahead of that and call it a day.
Let that
forecast
scare
is
you
not
away.
looking great for Jonesboro next week. We're going to go ahead and back out of that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even joking. We have precedent now. Texas A&M did it, and our guy Kendall Rogers said on Twitter, I agree with him. At this point, there is no way the RPI should drop a team that wins a game 8 spots at this point in the season. And since that is still happening, something needs to be reworked in the formula. You should not be punished 8 spots for a win, as some teams have been lately.
Arkansas State currently is 221 in the RPI.
Yeah, nope.
Yeah. Dave says Arkansas State is a Division I program. Can you schedule, if you schedule the game, you play the game? I mean, I hear you, Dave. I hear you. But
on the other hand, no.
You just disagree with Dave, period.
Well, I mean, if you're Ole Miss, it's going to hurt your RPI to play the game. Send them a check for $20,000 and say, have a nice day.
It's funny. I actually had that conversation with someone earlier today who would be in a position to perhaps say, no, you're not going to play that game. I was like, just send them a check for $15,000 and say, I'm sorry, we'll pick the series up next year, but we're not playing the game.
Yeah. I'm not coming.
I respect Dave in principles. It's always good to have principles. I understand it. But, I mean, let's be perfectly honest here. Mike Bianco is coaching for his job. Shout out, pardon my take. All coaches are coaching for their job. It's what they do for a living. But he is. He's coaching for his job.
Yeah.
Absolutely he is. He has to make the postseason, and he has to win games in the postseason, a lot of games, to save his job. If your job was on the line, would you not play Arkansas State in a move that most everybody would agree with? I think that's an easy choice for me.
And look, I think even Tommy Raffo, the head coach at Arkansas State, would understand. He might not like it, but if Mike Bianco picked up the phone and called Tommy Raffo and said, Tommy, you know how much I think of you. I respect what you're doing. We can't play this game next week. We're doing everything we can to try and get into the postseason. You're 11-32. It doesn't matter for you guys. I'm sorry. I'm out. We got to not play this week. And I think Tommy would probably be like, nah. But then they play it.
By the way, Tommy Raffo has been the head coach there this is his 16th season, if I'm correct.
Has he been at Arkansas State that long?
Well, I mean, Cohen took over in 2009, and Raffo was the other guy that Ron Polk wanted to get that job, and he took the Arkansas State job right after that.
He has been the Arkansas State head coach since 2009.
Is that right? So 14 seasons, I guess.
Yeah. He's had a long run, and they've been bad the last few years. It may be kind of the end of the run for Tommy Raffo at Arkansas State anyway. So anyway, Mike says Dave says if I'm a mid-major, then I would never trust Ole Miss again in a game. Dave, I think you're overplaying this, man. I think if it's handled the right way, you got to be upfront about it, right? You can't be shady about it if you're trying to get out of playing the game. But you can a head coach can call up another head coach and said, look, I'm sorry. I know this might put you in a bad spot. Here's what we're willing to do financially. We need to get out of the contract. We're not coming. Because you've had SWAC teams not show up for games before. Like, they just didn't show up. It's happened to Ole Miss. I mean, it happens. Sometimes you have to do scheduling stuff. I don't know. My guess is that they won't do that they'll go play the game, and they'll say, we'll either win enough or we won't win enough, but that would be a mistake.